Hello students, I hope everyone is so nice, enjoying your studies. Nice. So in today's series we'll continue with the poem, the Wall poem. You all are familiar with this term, ball. The poem is composed by a very famous American writer, poet, John Berryman. John Berryman was an American poet and scholar born in McAllister, Oklahoma. He was a major figure in American poetry in the school in the second half of the 20th century and was considered a key figure in the confessional school of poetry. So let's start the poem now. In this poem, a boy has lost a ball, so he's very upset, very natural thing, and the ball doesn't cost much. Still, the ball has no such a heavy cost that he cannot repay it, and nor it is difficult to buy another ball. Then why the boy is so upset? The poet has tried to find out this his problem, and his more and more implications has been portrayed in this poem by him, because there are two situations. If the it is not difficult for him to purchase a new ball, and if the ball does not cost much, then there was no use of weeping for it, crying or being upset for it. But still the boy is. So we'll read the poem and we'll find out what actually he has lost and what the boy has learned out of this experience of losing something in his life first time. It's the poem as you see the last word ball, go, then water, walls, boy, down. So means you can very clearly make it out that there is no regular rhyming scheme. So you can say the poem is in free verse or it is in no regular rhyming scheme. What is the boy now who has lost his ball? What what is he to do? I saw it go merrily bouncing down the street and then merrily over. There it is in the water. Means the poet says, what is the boy now? Means in what state, what mental state the boy is now. What is his situation now? Or is he little bit mature now? There may be many meanings of, if we see it from the point of view of poet, we will get a different meaning. If you take it on your, you will get a different meaning again. So in my consideration it is so. And who has lost his ball? Means who caused for losing this ball? Now the poet says, the poet saw, I means poet. He saw it, and it is that ball. He saw the ball going merrily, bouncing down the street. The ball was bouncing and it goes down the street, and then it was merrily over to some other place where the boy, could not reach. And that place is, after a dash it is given, there the ball was in the water. It means his ball went to some water body, into some water bodies out of his reach. Now the poet says, no, no use to say, oh, there are other balls. Means if you, what does this line means? This line means there are other balls, means you can purchase other balls. That ball does not cost very heavy amount. But still the poet says there is no use to say that there are other balls. Why? Other balls will not satisfy that boy, that young boy, because his experiences, his childhood memories are associated with this ball. Why? Because there are many figures of speech used in this poem. I will discuss it later on. So first I will discuss that this all poem is a very good example of a figure of speech called symbolism, because ball is a symbol of humans article of possessiveness positions, और बॉल इज अ सिंबल ऑफ डिफरेंट स्टेजेस इन ह्यूमन लाइफ. सो यहाँ पर बॉल जो सिंबलाइज करती है, दैट सिंबलाइजेज द बॉयज चाइल्डहुड. हिज चाइल्डहुड डेज, he misses his childhood days a lot. In that sense we can also take it like you and we miss our childhood days. So the ball is not only ball, with the ball his old childhood experiences are associated, and the ball sinked into the water means the ball went into some water body. His all experiences also shattered with the ball. That is why he says there is no use of other balls, because other balls would be new. The man had not developed such old experiences with those new balls. An ultimate shaking grief fixes the boy. And now the boy is only stood at one place and he stares at the ball, his own ball. That is why he says the ultimate means the high degree of grief. Grief means sadness, is actually shakes him, is shaking him. His hands, his body start shivering, trembling out of grief, and he is fixes at one place. He stood at one place and he stares at his ball only. Means it means not only state, means he is lost in his thoughts, his old memories associated with the ball, his childhood memories. That is what actually it has a sense. Now, that's why the boy stands rigid, trembling, staring down. And you can see the reflection on the boy's mind and face, that he stood there rigid, he is fixed at one place, stood rigid, his hands and legs are trembling, there is movement out of this big loss. This costs him emotional cost, not in terms of money. No monetary cost is there, but emotional memories are there. Staring down, and he's just staring means gazing at downward where the ball went away. All his young days into the harbor where, this is the very line. Why he's looking there? He's not looking there only for the ball, because the ball symbolizes his childhood, young days. So he's with that old ball, his young days went into the harbor. Harbor is that place of shelter where you see the water bodies. So harbor is actually somewhat related to port. You must have heard about this port or harbors in geography. Okay. His ball went. I would not intrude on him. And his ball also went there. And the poet says, I would not intrude on him. Why does poet say this? I would not intrude on him. Intrude means you everyone know. Intruder means you must have heard the person who enters somewhere without any permission. Ghuspet here you call it. So here it means I would not interrupt in his matter. The boy and his ball. He missed his ball. He lost his ball. He is repenting for it. He is in thoughtfulness. The writer says, I would not go nearby him. I would not console him. Because if he will do this, he will not learn a very value of losing a thing and a lesson. So he will not interrupt. He says that he is trying to overcome his grief and he is making himself understand certain things. What are certain things? Like that loss is a part of life. That's why the poet knows it well, and he says that with his self realization he will understand it more effective and lasting way than that any agency that is external, means the poet is external agency. So the poet, knowing it all, he does not intrude on him. Okay, because his all memories are attached with that old ball, and he had been playing with that ball for a long time. So no other ball or no soothing words by the poet will be able to take its place. That's why he wanted to leave the person alone in his situation so that he would learn out of this experience. And what to learn? The thing that is to be learned is actually how to stand up the loss, how to stand up and how to cope up with loss in life. A dime, another ball is worthless. A dime means it's a money unit of 10 cents in US. So it's that amount. So he says it's a dime means you can purchase another ball in just a small amount of money. Another ball, still he says another ball is worthless now. Means another ball cannot replace the experience that he had, childhood experience that he had with his old ball. One can purchase ball very easily, but you cannot purchase those memories, sweet memories, experiences that those are valuable. Now he senses first responsibility. And the poet says, now, today, he understood his first responsibility, and that is the first loss or shocking and the full of grief he is, and that ultimate loss is the loss of in the world first time. We all actually are have to undergo through this process, means we lose or we gain in life. So losing and gaining in life is very common. So one should not be shattered into pieces when some loss occurs in front of us. This is a very heavy lesson through this poem, that we, everyone, you, be it me, be it the poet, be it anyone, we encounter loss in our life, means losing of sometime our achievements, sometime we lose our gainings, money, sometime we lose our very valuable things, sometime we lose the relations, sometime we lose the very valuable people, persons in our life. But still, then after some time we come up and we start moving with the world. Okay, that's why he says that today the boy has learnt his first sense of responsibility. He learned how to cope with loss. In a world of possessions, people will take balls and balls will be lost always, little boy. He says that in this world of possessions, means in this world, in this materialistic world, which is full of persons who want to possess more and more wealth, power, resources, achievements, we also lose the things. So in this world where we are tend to lose, we should learn this lesson. And it will happen. People will take balls, mean people will purchase balls and again they will have some good experience with them, again will be lost. This is the lesson that he wanted to tell to boy. So ball means not only ball. Ball is, as I told in the very beginning, it is symbolism. It symbolizes the valuables. It symbolizes the very beautiful moments in our life. It symbolizes the different stages in our life. Like the very beautiful childhood will one day go. The very handsome age that you students and we are leading right now, we all are in young age. We will lose it someday. Then adulthood will set in our life. Again we'll lose it and we'll turn to old age. So we all are tend to this. Now, and no one buys a ball back. Money is external. He is learning. That boy is learning, he means. And money is external. That means he said no, at that point that I will give him another ball or I will not intrude, because these all are external things. Will not be replaced, all these things. So that's why he says money is external. So is that the boy is learning his lesson and how to cope up with loss, how to stand up loss. That's why, and he said, well, he is learning a very good lesson behind his desperate eyes. And why his eyes are desperate? His eyes are currently very discouraged because he is all the time gazing at the harbor area, gazing at the place where his wall went away, rolling down. So his eyes are very discouraged. And knowing what every man must one day know. Means we all have to someday go through this process. We have all are tend to bear loss. That's why he says every man must one day know. Means you have learned, dear boy, the lesson you have learned today, everyone will or must one day know. And most know means everyone knows many days. Many days actually means the future days or in his future or the coming days. The boy will learn how to stand up. Means how to stand up or how to cope up with loss. The poet says in last two lines that the boy has learnt a lesson today that will help him out understand or face the loss in his coming life, because he is a boy today he lost only a ball, and after some time the losing and gaining will be a common course of his life, and he will every now and then face this situation. So that time this experience will help him. That's why he says that in the last line that most know many days, means that everyone learn after in their future days. And what is that? In future you have to encounter with loss, and that time this learning will help you to stand up. That was a very valuable lesson in this poem, you must have understood. So in the world of possession means it implies the world that is full of people who want more and more in their life. That is world of possessions. We want to possess, like the boy had developed a possession over the wall. He was used to of his possession of that ball. So today he lost his possession over the ball. Otherwise he would generally call it my ball. So he has no right now to say my ball because the ball went away into the water. So it tells the very instinct of human that after some time we start showing our possessions over some certain things. Fine. So there are certain figure of speeches. We'll now work on it. Like here it is. Sorry. In the first two lines, you can see what is repeated. What two times. So we call it anaphora. 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 If you see the two or more than two lines are starting with the same word, we call it anaphora. You did it in class 9th also. Anaphora. And you see in the same line what repeated at same line two times, so we can call it repetition. So what repeated again, want to stress more on actually what will the boy's reaction now, what is his reflection now. So poet want to stress more on it. He wanted us to put our attention on there, that what the boy will do now. The boy's reflection is speechless. He stood at a one place, gazing at his ball only. He is quite silent and he is deep in grief, deep in sadness. Now, you see in the third line, merrily bouncing. So, ball is described here, that ball is bouncing very merrily. So, means ball is a non-living thing. Merrily means happily bouncing. It is not that much realistic, so we can call it personification. So here it will be personification. Again, merrily in the second two lines you can see. So again, very good example of anaphora. And balls. Again, in this line you can see. So we can say repetition will be here. And what else? Yes, symbolism. I told you earlier. Symbolism. With complete poem, ball is a symbol of different stages or and intensity of possessing things, human behavior. So symbolism is here, anaphora is here, personification is here, and more or less alliteration or assonance also may be there. You can see it anywhere. That is very common. You can easily find it out. Okay. Yes. Sorry. We left perhaps one line, epistemology. This line we could not explain. The epistemology of loss means the boy has today learnt a very good lesson. He has learnt the nature of laws. Epistemology actually, it refers to knowledge, the study of knowledge. Actually, epistemology means study of knowledge. But here it means epistemology of laws means the boy today understands the nature of laws. What is the nature of loss? When we lose something in the first time in our life that is very near to us, close to our heart, we do not feel like good while losing it. But after some time, our desperate state of mind shattered away and we be normal with it. So that is he learned a lesson. So dear children, we all are actually die end up someday, and this all will be a common course of our life. The boy has learned this first time because the poem says that in the first responsibility, it means the boy has learned this lesson first time in his life, that losing. Fine. So the just central theme of this poem is that in life one has to lose many things one is attached to, and one must learn on it own how not to get disheartened and grief stricken. One must learn to bear the loss and remain cool under any situations. This was the message given in the poem, that the boy was trying to learn. The boy was trying to learn to forget the loss of the ball, and similarly it applies to all of us, that we all should learn how to cope up with loss and stand up again for the future plannings. I hope you must have enjoyed this lesson, this poem about the boy who became attached to his ball and he was used to of his possession, and then finally he learned a very good lesson how to deal with loss. Thank you for enjoying the class. We'll meet in our regular classes online. Thank you.